I tend to get on air and not even plug the incredible news and stories that are on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. It's all up there. Everything that's going on. We've got the head of the Austin Police Union is saying that the citizen watch groups that are videotaping police better watch it or they're going to get hurt. I haven't even gotten to that video. We'll cover it on the nightly news tonight. I mean, the government's just getting out of control. You see, they get to where they can't get any trouble, and then they go so crazy it finally goes overboard. That's how tyrannies always work in history.
This is what happens when societies decline. It's as old as history. When societies are thriving and doing well, they're not breaking down on you. Topo Chico, right?
Yeah.
The only one I knew was Topo Gijo. That was the guy on the Ed Sullivan show with the little hand puppet there, Topo Gijo. But anyway, I like Topo Chico. It's really nice stuff.
Let's stop it. They're not a sponsor. They should be. Getting thousands of dollars of plugs
All
here.
right. But anyway,
I'm teasing you.
No, it's this is what happens when societies break down. The more they break down, the tougher they get to crack down on the people. It's as old as history, and that's what you're seeing.
And then that breaks down things more, and then they got to crack down more.
And that's why we have to return it. And you were talking about the ways to return it. Number one, bring home the troops. No foreign entanglements. Number two.
That's George Washington. We can't listen to him.
That's right, yeah. He was a real commander-in-chief, right?
Led from the front.
Yeah, I'm a commander-in-chief. Yeah, commander-in-chief. These guys kidding, you know. And the other ones, the other ones that I believe in are have to put back the laws in place that they put in place so these things wouldn't happen. And one of them, of course, is the Glass-Steagall Act. And as you well know, today we were talking about C-SPAN. They're talking about banking regulations, you know. The regulation is there. It was dismantled by Slick Willie Clinton and Robert Rubin, who was the former head of the Goldman Sachs gang. And, of course, they created from that big companies like... who are they?
MF Global?
MF Global, they're taking Corzine.
Oh, but yeah, what do you think now? A couple years after he stole your money, he may go to jail.
Oh, yeah, he may go nowhere. I'll bet anything.
Yeah, they're saying there'll be a lawsuit.
Yeah, he'll walk away. Nothing will happen to him. But I remember Citigroup. First it was Citibank, then it became Citigroup, and then they bought Travelers, and then Smith Barney, and that guy Sandy Weil. Oh, everybody loved him. This is when they dismantled the Glass-Steagall Act. Oh, and Robert Rubin later went to work for Sandy. I think he made like $110 million in consulting fees. So we need to put back the laws that were put in place before that prohibited the gangsters from robbing all our money and turning America into slavelandia. Look, you were talking about buying local. When I was a kid, they had this funny thing. They were called stationery stores before there was Staples and the Office Depot. They had another little quaint thing called pharmacies. That's right. The local people used to own their own pharmacies, and now they work for CVS.
And they had a big selection, and they'd even make you a hamburger.
That's right, yeah, and soda fountains.
And then you could get a job there when you were a kid.
Yeah, and I did. I was one of the last.
Wow, you could have just gotten given a bunch of vaccines and died of embolism. That'd have been more fun.
Yeah, I was one of the last soda jerks. I was that was my favorite job. All the kids used to come in after school, you know, and it was fun. And that's why I met a nice, pretty girl too. But anyway, I digress.
I can imagine you were like, "Hey, baby."
Oh no, she was a sweetheart. Anyway, and then they had other little things, butcher shops and grocery stores.
And you learned who had the better meat, stores. Who had the cuts you like?
Exactly. And dress shops and haberdashers. And now we have Walmarts and Targets. It's one takeover. And here's the thing. The young people have no point of reference. They think it was always like this.
And they always think Walmart's like a prison where they search you and stuff, too, when you come in and out. I mean, I guess the old clothing stores, you didn't get searched.
You didn't get searched, and you weren't walking into a place that looked like a large self-storage unit. You know, every of these places had style and class and grace to them.
I know I look at old photos of family and stuff, grandparents, great-grandparents. They all look so sharp and awake and dress so nice. And I was like, why do they look so good?
Again.
Well, they weren't eating GMO.
They weren't eating GMO, and they weren't working for the man in slavelandia.
And I'll tell you this, and if a cop was rude and got in their face, there'd be trouble. people think laying down. Have you seen the video in New Jersey of the disarmed lady? She doesn't have a gun, and the guy comes in and beats her for like 5 minutes, and right in front of her kid. Guys, can you cue that up to show Gerald? I'm going to your calls, I promise. Cue that up in a minute. I want to show. But my point is, this is Obama gun control. I mean, this is the great. We're only the government, the criminals have the guns, and we're sandwiched between authoritarian government and street thugs. There it is. And look, the little kid cowering in fear. This woman didn't even resist him. And he just beats her and beats her and beats her and throws her down the stair.
Oh, my God.
And it just, but hey, I think that lady might need to go to jail for a hate crime. He might have hurt his fist.
Oh, my God.
Where is the white Jesse Jackson declaring this racial hate crime? Again, I'm not saying
oh, my God.
Race thing. My point is that...
Well, listen, you know,
hey, why don't the feminists call for her to be armed?
Well, why don't you learn how to fight, too?
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you something. My mom, my wife, you try that, there's going to be butcher night.
Yeah.
What would happen when your mom...
no way would that... No way. No way would that ever happen. No way. And if we were one of the kids over there, we'd be banging this guy over there with a vase or anything we could pick up.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I was mean when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
What happened to people?
Again, it's the...
Like, I was meaner when I was sweet, too, but I was mean when I was a kid. And when I was like 14, I'm probably meaner than I am now. What happened to kids? I don't understand this thing. It was like, I mean, I wasn't out starting fights, but if you punch me, you wanted to get in a fight, you're going to get one. I don't understand this cowering thing. Well, what would your mom have done? My mother, I know what she'd do, because my dad's tried to tickle her before, and she hit him upside the head with a boot, just knocked him out. I mean, she's not looking for trouble. Who are these women you can just beat up so easy?
Well, it's not only the women, it's the men, too.
You know how hard women kick?
There was another one out there, a guy. I saw one that they got a fight on the two guys in suits. They got in a fight somewhere, and it was like two little kids fighting. These weren't men fighting. There was another clip. I saw it on CNN. You could probably pick that one up, too. But so what happened is we're not taught to fight back. You're not taught to fight back.
Yeah, in the schools, you get in more trouble if you fight back than if you start a fight.
Listen, I got expelled a couple of times for getting in fights. I was the little kid. I was the smallest one there, so they used to pick on me.
Yeah.
And one time I bit off a piece of a kid's cheek.
Good.
Yeah.
He started it.
The other kid. And one
time I was at the bottom of a dog pile. They were stomping me, and the guy's leg was right there, and there was an arm. I just reached over, chomp. They got off me real quick.
Yeah.
That's what you got teeth for.
Yeah, the same. No, I got in fights more than one. But I was a little guy who had to learn how to defend myself. And as you may know, I have a second-degree black belt in close combat, so I never stopped. And I used to train women, by the way, that were victims of abuse and rape.
Yeah, what would you do if a guy tried something like that? You kick him right in the huevos, right?
Well, no, with me, I just go for the computer. You know, the
head.
Yeah, you go for the eyes and the nose. You push that nose, you just give him a palm heel to the nose and push that little bone through the brain.
Yeah.
With the fingers through the eyes, and there's this little shield behind there that once you penetrate that, they go on blotto. And the other one is, particularly when women, you know, if they were in a situation, a rape situation, is to just bite into that, you know, soften the guy up, tell him how much you love him, what a man he is, and seduce him in closer and just bite into that carotid artery and twist it as you bite it. And
well, just the classic thing I've seen is
close your eyes.
Is a lot of times a woman will go back
through the.
And if a guy tries to climb on them, I mean, women just kick them like a mule.
Well, the thing is with kicking, I've seen a number of fights.
No, but I've just seen men try to climb on women and seen them kick them off.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, if it comes to that kind of a situation, you know, I mean, there are a lot of things going on. You know,
that woman didn't even resist.
She didn't even resist.
I mean, I guarantee you, when I was a kid, and I don't care how big the guy was, if I was there, my mother would be like, I mean, it'd be bad.
You see, the thing with the fight, too, is that people don't understand is that it's not like you see in the movies. You know, it's not all this posturing and thing.
It doesn't go on and on and on.
No, the first guy in usually wins, and that's what I do. That's what I teach. You go right in. You feel trouble coming down, you go right in. You're all over it. And again, you know, it's the palm heel. As a matter of fact, I should have my teacher on, John Perkins from attackproof.com. Anybody could go to it, attackproof.com. And this guy, you know, I mean, these are real guys. You know, he was a cop and, you know, he's been there. And what people don't understand is you got to go right in. And you go in and you do what you have to do. And the fight ends really quick.
Well, I agree. Instinctively, if you punch somebody with an uppercut in the nose, I've never sent one into the brain, but I've torn the nose off completely like twice. They're out of the fight.
Yeah. Well, a palm heel is nicer. It's just right to the nose. You don't hurt your wrists, and it does the job. But you're going to kill somebody, just so you know it. And with me, I avoid fights at this point because, and I've been in situations, and the guys will tell you up there, and I make it really clear that if this thing is going to get out of hand, somebody's going to really be hurt, and it's not going to be me.
No, I'm not looking for violence, but if somebody starts one with me, I'm just going to punch him in the throat as fast as I can.
Yeah, well,
I've also found that's useful.
Punch to the throat is good, but again, if you want to take the person out, if it's an end game and your life is threatened, the two things are the palm heel to the nose and eye strikes. You know, right through the eyes. There's a little shield. Once you go by that, boom, your brain goes out. It's over. So those are the two. And I'm a small guy. I only go for the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. I've been in fights a long time, and I'm glad. I've gone for computers before.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out nice. I tell you. Luckily, I got a thick skull, so it's been good luck for me. Now I fight in the info war, Gerald. Oh, yeah. But I just can't believe videos like this with this woman.
But again, they're teaching us not to fight. They're teaching if you have a problem, call the police. They're teaching you not to be strong. And that's what they've done to society at every level. And then, by the way, we could go back to the feminine thing again. A house being raised, again, with a male energy, it's different. You have a different way about you. And young people are losing the male energy. And they're making it seem as though it's a bad thing to have. You know, I hear it, you know.
That's my point. I'm tired of hearing I'm bad because I'm a man.
Exactly. And that male energy is a negative thing.
You know, like if you go to schools or like public schools, government things, they talk to the woman, not the man. And it's like, hey, men don't speak here, even if it's a man. It's like women run things now. And they're running things pretty well, aren't they?
Oh.
But I mean, the guys need to step up and lead is what needs to happen.
Yeah, and both. You know, again, let's just call it equal.
Everybody's together, yeah.
Yes, call it equal.
But I mean, historically, it's going to be men like George Washington. He had women behind him supporting him, and you know, big time. They couldn't have done it without the women supporting him and all the things they did. But it was men that,
well, you know, we could have a woman leading the Second American Revolution
if she was a patriot.
Exactly. If it was about making it for the greater good.
Oh, I agree.
Well, a woman leading the Second American Revolution.
I'd get behind a woman that was a leader.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a second.
If it wasn't about saying men are bad all day.
Yeah. Again, we're talking about the bigger issue, the American Revolution.
Exactly. And it's not a balkanization issue. I'm saying they're trying to get women to gang up on men when instead, I mean, women, you're going to have boys as well as girls. I want my boys and girls to be empowered. We're having quite the talk with Gerald Celente in person today. We got to go film here in a minute for your Obama deception, too. But we're live right now. Alcatraz, thanks for holding her on the air with Gerald Celente.
Yes. Alex, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I just want to ask you a question. Have you heard about the cyber attack drill being hosted by the Department of Homeland Security called Quantum Dawn 2?
Yes, it rings a bell.
Yeah. Well, I just want to inform you this. You know how the DHS, they love to put their false flag attacks right next to the drill? Well, I don't know if this is true or not, all right? And I'm not going to say that it is going to happen, but I believe that this is going to be the next false flag attack. What's your take on this?
I don't know. They could use any drill as the smokescreen to do it. But, I mean, we know, like, they launched the Stuxnet attack and then said they need to take over the Internet because of the Stuxnet attack. And the media didn't point out that the CIA in Israel created it with Microsoft and sent it out there reportedly. Yeah. That's how dumb they think. We've got to take your rights because of Al-Qaeda, but then they run Al-Qaeda. Gerald?
Well, you know, on the false flag, I believe that we are going to have either a false flag or a real flag, something that is going to divert our attention away from the problems that are around us now. There's going to be a wag the dog moment. And it's also going to wag us away from the economic problems. They're not going to be able to get us out of this economic mess. As we all know, again, the stimulus did not work. Now they're talking about tapering it back. I mentioned to you that interest rates went up the fastest time in 26 years in a week. And so I think there might be a false flag. It might be a computer. It might be, quote, terrorism. It might be something going on with Syria.
And then they say, we got hit because of Snowden. Everybody's like, please spy on me. Like,
right.
Did you see
got it.
Miss USA going, or one of the contestants, I want to be spied on. Watch everything I do. keep me safe in case I'm bad.
There you go. Keep me safe. And that's why that woman couldn't fight. And that's why the little kid was cowering. That should be natural instinct to protect yourself. You shouldn't be taught how to do it. It should be in our DNA. That is the opposite of everything.
Well, also, why does the guy just keep beating the daylights out of him?
Because he's at, what kind of drugs is this guy whacked out on? What's his brain in? What zone? I mean, of course this guy's out of his mind. And by the way, that's my biggest fear. And this is, we're going to be writing about this in the next Trends Journal. All of this youth unemployment, you're talking 60% around the world.
They're going to make them cops.
No, they're out of their minds already. They're on all kinds of drugs that, whether it's, the psychotropic drugs, whether it's the opiates, whether...
Oh, people are screwed up.
I know. Big numbers. I go out a lot. I'm out in the street.
Yeah.
I go to different places. I bounce around. I see it, man. We have a drug problem, and no, it's not marijuana, cocaine. It's much worse than that. Marijuana. I mean, really. But it's
no. Most of them are on prescriptions now.
I know, and
they're saying like 2/3, and then they'll give them whatever they want.
I know, and I'm saying this is going to be one of the biggest problems confronting us. So when you're asking about that guy out of his mind, they're going to be a lot more like him. There are a lot of young people that they have degrees in worthlessness and are facing a hopeless future if they have any kind of education.
And then, like, why in Chicago and places do they want the public disarmed so criminals all move there and feed on them? Why in New Jersey do people not everybody in New Jersey, but that, they've taken the guns. That happened to that woman. Why do they want to live under Bloomberg, who has 15 bodyguards with guns but says you can't have one?
Again, people have lost their dignity, their courage, and their self-respect, and they're listening to other people on telling them how to run their lives. That's why. And that's all it comes back down to.
Bloomberg is a pig.
I can't stand him. I mean, he'd be nobody if he didn't have his money to make him.
And he lied.
Brilliant.
He said he wouldn't run for another term and changed the law.
Yeah, he bought the election. And now look how bad it is. Look at the people running against him, running for the new mayor. This guy Wiener is leading. The guy who put up his thing on Facebook.
He's thrusting his wiener.
Yeah, and he's in there. He's leading. That's how bad it is.
Well, they say he's thrusting in the polls.
There you go.
Hi, Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources. With over 30 years of experience in the precious metals business, I can tell you without a doubt, we are facing the most dangerous and volatile times, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Peace of mind is gold and silver. Now is the time to invest in gold. When it comes to bullion coins, our prices are competitive and the closest to melt. If it's numismatics you're looking for, we have some of the best deals out there. Visit MidasResources.com today or go to Infowars.com and click on the link to see our daily specials. Here's an example of one of our long-term specials we've been offering for more than a year. 2 silver dollars from the turn of the last century, plus 2 powerful films, The Obama Deception and The American Dream. We also add in the book Dishonest Money, all for $72 and free shipping. The most trusted name in precious metals is Midas Resources. Call 1-800-686-2237 or go to Infowars.com. I'm Ted Anderson with Midas Resources.
We are now only entering the edge of a global financial superstorm, the likes of which the planet has never seen. Here in the United States, the private Federal Reserve is giving more than $85 billion of taxpayer money a month to themselves and other offshore foreign banks. And the worst part is, we have to pay the bank's interest on the money we give them. There is now a race between the global central bank mafia cartels to see who can devalue their country's currencies the fastest. We are already seeing big increases in inflation at the grocery store and the gas line. This will eventually lead to hyperinflation. More than a dozen top globalists like George Soros have been buying record amounts of gold while at the same time bad-mouthing it to the public. Don't just listen to what they say. Watch what they do. For more than 6,000 years of recorded human history, gold has been the ultimate hedge against uncertain times and inflation. Before investing in metals, it is important to do your own research and find a reputable company. Midas Resources has the highest Better Business Bureau rating of an A+. Unfortunately, very few precious metal companies can boast that. Midas Resources has assembled one of the most educated, researched, and professional teams of brokers in the industry. The evidence is overwhelming. In uncertain times, gold and silver is safe harbor. Now is the time to invest in gold. Call 800-686-2237 and Midas Resources will mail you 10 reasons to own gold absolutely free. No shipping. It's absolutely free. And finally, Ted Anderson wants to challenge you to find any deal that comes close to his 2 silver dollars at cost with free shipping with 2 free films and a book for $72. That's more than $160 value for $72 shipping included. Click the link at Infowars.com to go to the MidasResources.com specials page. Brought to you by MidasResources.com and Ted Anderson, the trusted name in precious metals. TrendsJournal.com, ladies and gentlemen, is where you can go and see all the alerts and sign up for the email alerts and subscribe to the Journal and give it to your friends and family and support free and true, hardcore, independent media. I want to take a few final calls. I've really been hogging Gerald here, but I'm gonna go to Mike and a few others that have been patiently holding. Mike and Mike are the next two in line. But briefly, what's coming up in the new Trends Journal?
Oh, we're going to be doing a special report on economic future. Where is it going? What to expect and what to do? That's going to be the. And
in a nutshell, what is it in your view?
The nutshell is that to hold on for a while, and then we're going to go into a serious decline. And it's not only, again, in the United States. As I mentioned, what's going on in China.
And that's why they're gearing up with all the martial law gadgets?
I believe so, 100%. And again, it's not only in the U.S. And I was mentioning before, we didn't follow up on it, before one of the breaks. In China, what they're concerned about the most is not the United States.
They have like 7,000 riots a month or something.
Yeah, they have 1.2 billion people, and and even now, even with that boom that they had, their GDP, their level of income per person ranks among the lowest in the world. Only a few, maybe
the communist insiders.
Yeah, the 400 million have a lot. But then you got a billion, or 900 million that don't have.
Yeah, I think anything. You're right. I think it's like 1.3 actually million people.
So what you have is they're very concerned about riots, and I guess what? They're concerned about it everywhere.
Well, you know what the riots are always over? It's not even over food and stuff. It's the bureaucrats beating people up and being above the law and the cops. It's what's triggering it.
And also with this...
Same thing in Brazil. They said, we're tired of being shoved around.
And the corruption.
Yeah.
The corruption. And it's the same story everywhere. So now figure it out. You got 3 million people taken to the streets. I don't care how many soldiers you have or how many cops you have. You're not going to control 3 million people. Not going to control 3 million people without a lot of mass slaughter. And I don't believe it's going to happen in most countries. It's not going to go.
No. The corrupt elite are going to jump on jets and fly out.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to start seeing more and more of. Because there are too many, you know my saying, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And that's what you're going to start seeing. So when we're looking at this economic forecast, I am still a holder of gold. If I did not buy all that real estate that I just bought last year, I would be buying gold now. But I've been buying gold since 19...
I don't even look at the price of it because I know that it's an artificial market. They're artificially suppressing it.
It's artificially suppressed. There's no question about it.
That's on record. Let's jam in one call because I promised here. Mike in Alabama, you're our tail gunner. I don't have time to get to the other Mike. Go ahead, Mike in Alabama.
Okay, hey, I'm about retirement age, and I got about $25,000 or $30,000, and I'm looking at 3 different options. I can only afford one of the 3. Would you put into a modest income property, a rental property, or would you put it in silver and gold, or would you put it in 20 acres out in the woods somewhere where you'll have a getaway place?
Well, I don't give financial advice, but if it was me, and that's the amount of money that you had, and you could put it into rental property and bring in income from it, it might be a wise move. Only and a little bit in gold, but I'll tell you why. I was talking before about mortgage rates, and how they're increasing. You're going to start seeing this whole housing thing start to slow down big time. And people don't have enough money to buy homes. They're going to be renting.
Yeah, the elites are all flooding into renting.
Yeah.
So follow what the big maggots are doing.
And again, only if it's good property and at an affordable rate.
Exactly. And again, if that's all the money you're going to have, that's a good idea. If I had the 30 grand, and I was going to be able to have a part-time job or something after I retired, I would go with the property and guns. I mean, you probably already got guns.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.